Hello Internet, this is Dr. Jan with another Monday Miniatures Ramble for you, this time for Monday the 25th of June 2018, and we're starting with some, let's turn around, some more Orcsis, or as I like to call them, Orgs, because as I mentioned these are a lot beefier than the Orcs I painted last time. They're still Reaper Bones though, and I went with kind of the same skin tone, the sort of pale, slightly greenish, but not really tone, instead of the bright green of GW Orcs, which I don't much care for. And the reason I did this tone anyway is because, I mean, D&D Orcs are supposed to have grayish skin mostly, and I wanted to set them apart from the Goblinoids, which have yellowish or reddish skin, so I didn't want to go to those tones. So something sort of gray-green would, you know, be unique to them. Anyway, I put a little bit of color here, like some orange, because the thing I'm worried about is the leathers. I'm not sure that the browns are different enough, the fur and the straps on these guys. I mean, on the armored guys, there's no problem, because they just have a little bit of fur sometimes, and you can tell what's a belt and what's something else. But on these furry clad guys, not sure. Maybe I should have gone with some other color of brown for that, but oh well. But I think they turned out okay otherwise. This one shows one of the problems with Bonesium is that this sword is kind of, and I tried a little bit to straighten it, but yeah, there's no point really. It's gonna be crooked however you do it. You're just gonna have to live with it. It's the quality of the material. And the spear is a little twisted. It was worse to begin with. Fixed it a little bit. And have I shown them all? Well, there'll be steel picks at the end. Anyway, a good selection of monsters. These are 9 guys. But I have more bones to show you. Let's move on. And the cult is complete. These are 7 cultists plus the stone circle. I showed you this in progress before. It's finished, I think. Not much to show you there. And yeah, I went with a color scheme on these that would be dark and desaturated, sort of grayish, dark gray, some maroon, a little bit of sickly green. They have some equipment in, you know, contrasting colors, like he's got a little scroll case there in the back. This one is showing a lot of leg, but I painted her. It looked like armor. I'm not sure. It's probably a bit more form-fitting and should be cloth, but let's say that it's silver thread or something. This guy's showing some skin too. Now, this guy, when you see the still pics at the end, his chest is going to look all green. That's a mistake. I actually took the still pictures first this time around. And then when I looked at them, I noticed that, oops, I forgot to paint his chest. I just left it the same green as the cloth. The base coat of the cloth. So I very quickly went back and painted over that with flesh tones before filming this. So, yeah. And here's a few others. Picks at the end. Yeah, you know, painted with a little bit more care than just the worst speed painting techniques, but not much more. And yeah, So we have a cult. And finally, this guy's complete. The Goroloth, I think he's called. He's been a long time in the making. And part of that is because I messed up a bit. When I first laid down a base coat with the airbrush, I got a very nice turquoise color that I liked quite a lot. But then as I was, you know, trying to highlight and shade it and add some details, I messed it up. I ruined that paint job. So I went back to my spray booth and decided, let's do it over again. And I couldn't find a combination. I couldn't figure out what mix of colors I had used. So I was never able to recreate it completely. But I've tried to fix it anyway with a lot of glazing. This is a lot of the clear paints from Reaper, blue, green, and purple clear. Also, fluorescent blue from Vallejo is in here in the mix. And hopefully, the tentacles I tried to make a different blue than the body. And it's wet blended again, like the tentacles on the Kraken, but this time it's more in one color. It's from a deep blue to a mid blue to a very light blue at the tips. It's not shading between different colors like it did on the Kraken. Yeah, the one thing I'm worrying about is should I have made the eyes pop more? I put a glaze of green over them. Maybe I should have left them a bit whiter. I'm not sure. But I think they look more evil this way, with a little bit more color to them. That's what I was going for. Anyway, he's complete, and this time I finally figured out, you know, I've messed up these sort of flying stands before when I'm painting flying creatures. This one's swimming, not flying, but anyway. So this time, if you've seen it in progress, you've noticed that it was completely masked off. It was like covered in tape, the whole thing. Yeah, that was the way to protect it all the way through varnishing and everything. Ah well, lesson learned. Simple one that. And finally, you thought this was never going to end, did you? I painted a lot of minis this week. I've finished a lot of them. Though some of them have been a long time in the making. Like this guy. This is a Mjolnir. I think his name is Mjolnir. I forget. He's from Hasselfjord Miniatures. He's he's supposed to be a half ogre. And I finally finished him off. Tried some different things with the skin tone here. I tried for some real contrast, even though it's kind of smooth skin. I tried to make it look more contrasty with the colors. That's purple of various kinds in the shades, in case you can't tell. And yeah. What can I say? He's reasonably good looking, I think, for a monster. And that concludes the section of finished minis for this week. I think, let's see, counting the stone circle as a mini, that would be some 19 completed figures this week. Not a record, but close to it. It's up there. Let's see what else I'm working on. So I'm fairly far along with this wizard. I've spent a long time working on the blues here, trying to get the transition, trying to get the balance between highlights and shade just right. Still not sure it is. You know, do I want high contrast between the shadows and the highlights or not? I had it even higher for a while, but toned it down with the glaze. And yeah, I think I'll leave it like this. And just some details to finish up on in the sash, the bag, and the runes. that are on the sword and on various portions, the hems of the robe. And then I'll call him done. Oops. No, she's not called the Oops, she's an alchemist. I've just roughed in some colors on the bottles, just given it a dark brown wash to pick out the detail in the recesses. A lot of it's going to be, she's mostly dressed in leather. She's got some sort of padded armor, and she's got a big backpack and lots of straps and a pouch there in the front. So there's going to be a lot of different shades of brown. And to counteract that, I've the little bits of her undertunic that are showing, the collar there and the sleeves between the gloves and the strap for the backpack, I painted this bright blue, same as on the wizard actually. And also I'm gonna try to find various bright colors for the bottles, and just to balance all the grab of brown that's gonna be on her. But that's, you know, I've got an idea. Now as for these monsters, you can tell that I've just taken down, done some really quick base coats. Like this is the ochre jelly, obviously. It's the Shoggoth, so far mostly green. The carrion crawler, which is in a different shade of green. We've got the, I don't know what D&D monster this actually is. I don't think it's exactly anything from the monster manual, but it's a floating brain. This beholder, I'm not sure I want it this drab. I might paint it brighter. But the Ottjug should be drab. And this is a creature that lives in trash and feeds on filth. It should be a dull color. Yeah, that's some progress. Not as much progress on these bones. These are the half-orcs. Done some work on the metallics. And just started on the others. And the Darrow, not much has happened there. And then we have these two. Where they're primed, I've done a base coat on the base, and yeah, just sort of filled in some. This, I had the problem where this resin, it doesn't always, when you take it off the sprue, you don't always snap at the right places. So the left foot snapped at the ankle when I tried to take it off the sprue. Fortunately, it was easy enough to glue on. There was a clean break, and it's not a supporting foot. She's actually sort of floating on these ribbons. It's a good thing it is a light material like resin. But I suppose metal would have worked for this as well, because metal is stronger. However, I don't think it would be balanced. Metal would probably be topple over forward. Oh. That's them anyway. So I decided not to use this big diorama base, and the reason I decided not to do that is that it would be too much work. Specifically, it would be kind of work that I'm not very good at currently. If you compare what's on the box art with this, you'll notice that none of these interesting patterns are actually sculpted in. All the marble work and all the pattern on the carpet here, the rug, is freehand. And kudos to whoever painted this. Whoever did it is not credited on the box, only the sculptor is. It's very, very good freehand work. Much better than I can do. And that's the thing. I might, in the future when I want to practice doing this sort of thing, I can pull out this piece and do some practicing on it. But I don't want to lock myself into using it for these particular figures. I mean, it might be a nice base at some point for a larger mini, a big
larger scale figure. But yeah, I'll keep it. I'm not going to throw it away. I'll keep it around, and if ever the urge strikes me to start practicing marble and rug patterns, I know I have this still lying around. But that's all it's going to be good for now.
Yet another week of the mailman having nothing for me. Oh well, at least it's good for my statistics so far. I'm in the black. Won't last, but it's nice while it does. Anyway, I think for my next project I want to do something more time consuming because I have more time available during the summer. And I'd like to paint these 5 figures here from Dark Sword Miniatures. Why these 5 in particular? Well, because they are the miniatures used as examples in this DVD set. I've previously done a project where I painted through the instructions and miniatures on this set from Dark Sword. This is Masterworks miniature painting with Jen Haley and Ann Forster, which was 10 hours of instruction on 3 DVDs. This one is with Marika Reimer, and it's 4 DVDs and 13 hours. So yeah, I'm gonna rewatch this and try to emulate Marika's techniques on the same figures that she's using. We'll see how that goes. As a note, I do have the 3rd DVD set as well with Jessica Rich, which is even more DVDs and even more hours. Maybe we'll save that for next summer. But just adding that project, that would, you know, it's a slow painting project, as I said. I do want to have some figures in the pipeline that I can, you know, paint for a more tabletop quality. And so why not bring something completely out of left field? What is this, Hordes minis? You've never seen me paint anything from Hordes before. No, I haven't. And this is because I've never played Hordes. I don't play Hordes now, and I probably never will. But for whatever reasons, a few sets of Hordes minis have wound up in my collection. And I think mostly because, well, for example, this one was at some point on sale for really cheap, and I thought, well, 2-headed dog thingy looks kind of cool. I'll pick it up. And these were just like generic humanoids that were also on sale. I think most of these were on sale, and that's why I got them. I'm not sure about this one. This is some promo mini. This is some special character with a druid with a beer stein. I don't know. This is a troll impaler, which is a big guy. Yeah. So you see, there's no real unifying theme. They're from all different factions, but why not challenge myself to paint something that I haven't painted before and get started on some of these? I'm not going to prep all of these for next week, but maybe I'll start with these. Maybe I'll start with these Bogtrog Ambushers. They look simple enough. It's a unit. They can be armor painted. Yeah. I'll get cracking on that. So that was this week's video. Hope there was something in it you liked. Please click like and subscribe if you haven't done so. And comment if there's anything worth commenting. Share the video, you know, all that usual stuff. I will be back a week from now. Until then, this is Dakian, signing off.